Okay. All right. Okay, it looks like we're live and we're recording. All right. Welcome. I'm so glad for everyone who's here and everyone who will come. I am honored, and it's my pleasure to have with us here today for our mental and emotional healing podcast or live stream broadcast, Miss Diana Deaver. I'm sorry, I always want to put an S on there. Another emotional healing coach. There's an army of us, and I just get to bring you this special one today. For Diana is a teacher, a life coach, speaker, virtual artist in Charleston, South Carolina. And her work in emotional healing focuses on deep personal exploration, understanding, and compassion. And I'll let her tell us how it came to be. I want you to know that she holds a master's in depth psychology, specialization in Jungian and archetypical studies at Pacific Graduate Institute, certified in Enchantivism and the retreat at Pacific Graduate Institute. She's a guest speaker at emotional eating workshops and so much more. Please help me give a warm welcome, and I want you to engage with us with Miss Diana Deaver. Thank you, Diana, for joining me here. I really am honored for you to oblige me in this interview. And for our listeners, can you tell us, and me too, how Diana Deaver, the emotional health coach, came into being?
Well, my parents had sex. I'm just kidding.
I love it.
Yeah, so as most healers, I started this journey with working on my emotional health. And so I had a personal teacher I worked with for 10 years, one-on-one in person, before I mustered the courage to say yes to this calling inside of me. I know there are a lot of people with a calling and they know what that feels like, and the pull and the invitation and the curiosity and the desire, and sometimes the pressure and the tension that comes with a calling. And sometimes we have to wait for a few years before we amp up enough self-confidence, enough courage to say yes and go, jump off the cliff of security into the unknown.
Absolutely.
And discover that we were held and will be held the entire time. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of how I came to say yes to the calling of emotional health and become a practitioner, is by being a student first for 10 years and then getting a couple credentials and experience under my belt, and then venturing out into just sitting and listening to the hearts of other people.
That is so beautiful. I'm just in awe of the universe bringing up these health, because 6-7 years ago, there was no such thing as an emotional health coach. At least I tried to find emotional health coach that back then, and I couldn't find anything on an emotional health coach. I was doing that kind of work, and I, in my own mind, came up with, I'm an emotional health coach. And of course, I have to explain what that is because no one has any idea. And so I'm just in awe that the universe brought us all up around about the same time for this purpose, for this time such as now. And so with our listening audience, whether we have people listening right now or they will be listening soon, or to the recording, what would you say to someone who is at the place where they just they want something, they want answers, they want to know what they're here for, or why they're suffering, or can it stop? You know, are there alternatives to healing, to, you know, to what's not working for them?
Well, I would say congratulations, first of all. You're aware.
Amen.
Because we're all on the journey, whether we're aware of it or not. But it gets really exciting when we become aware that we're on a journey, and then we start identifying our place. It's like, am I in the hurt yet, or am I just in the awakening? Because the hurt is part of the journey. At some point, we all have a wound or a loss or a trauma that we must face and learn how to carry with dignity and courage and honesty. And so identifying yourself on the journey is the first step. Is like, where am I? Where am I? Do I live in a universe in which there is purpose? And
that's a profound question.
Yes.
That most people, I think, aren't even asking.
Yes. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier when we were preparing to come in, you know, about, you made a comment about my picture of the world from space. And that is a reminder to me, everyday reminder to remember the bigger picture. Because, you know, we get in the nitty gritty of the daily life, and we get upset about the neighbor that has too loud of a vacuum cleaner. But then we forget that we live in an unlimited universe. And so when you put the vacuum cleaner on one hand and the unlimited universe on the other, it's it all, you take it with a different attitude. There's that grain of salt kind of comes in.
Yes.
It's a little bit easier to take the red light on the dashboard when you remember that you live in a universe that is generous, available, unlimited, willing and able to love you and provide for you. And so that is the question that I would ask someone who's becoming aware that they're on a journey is, what kind of universe do you live in? And what is your relationship with that universe? And we might say God, we might say divinity, the divine. You know, I don't want to use the universe as the only word. You know,
right.
That relationship with spirit, the relationship with the unknown, the unseen, the unknowable, but the powerful. And so where am I in that relationship? Do I get to ask for what I want? Do I get to be assisted? Do I only get to ask for what I want when it's really dire and tragic? Or can I ask for help with finding my car key? You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Those are some first important questions of deciding that and looking at that. And maybe even just being curious of, I'm willing to know you, dear divine higher self universe. Can you give me something? I'm open. I'm giving you something. I'm giving you my time and my energy and my soul. And then I can start that conversation. That is a good place to start, so that we're not fooling ourselves to think that we're alone on a journey. Or that everything that is happening in our lives is under our control, because that is also a beautiful illusion we like to dance with.
I love it. I love it. It is such a beautiful way to put that question that we all need to entertain. What would you say to someone who couldn't answer that question?
Yay. I would say yay, because the opposite of certainty is curiosity. So I love people who don't know for sure. We're not convinced it's this way and no other way, right? Because that means those people are still open. They're still curious. They're still asking questions. And so that curiosity is a huge ally, especially with the people that I work with. I often invite a shift from judgment, from right and wrong, to curiosity. And I invite from asking what's wrong with me. By the way, by that point, I've judged myself to be defective, to shift into what happened to me? What do I need? What am I, it's almost like if your car is not starting, you're not automatically assuming it's broken.
Yeah.
You're starting to ask, wait, do I have gas in it? Is the battery working? Is the key the right key? Before you decide the car is broken. And so that curiosity is so vital. And I would say, yay.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And to one who says, well, I've just tried everything, and I've talked to God and I've reached out to God, and he just doesn't care about me.
Okay. That is some certainty there. I drew a conclusion, God doesn't care about me, or spirit or universe. So then I am imagining that in my one human on this tiny planet in this unlimited universe can understand and read the mind of a vast, all-knowing creator.
I love it.
So I would say, shake your ego.
I love it. Yes, because this is really, maybe not in that particular, they're not saying that exact thing, but that is where I believe the majority of people are deciding that they know enough to make that judgment.
Right. Yeah.
And so if you get nothing else from this, realize that we don't have the whole picture. We can't make any judgments, and we didn't create it. Right. So we're not qualified to make those kinds of judgments.
Oh, I love that. I do not have the qualifications to judge my life or myself. Yeah.
Or anyone else's.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so can you give us some examples of, of course, you don't have to mention any names, but just how people have come to you with some of the challenges and how you have brought them from here to there?
Yeah. So my practice is called emotional health coaching. And so I specialize in working with emotions that are challenging, that drain us of energy, that perhaps we don't know how to carry, that we're making ourselves miserable about, on one hand. And on the other hand, I work with people who experience what I call emotional numbness, where perhaps I'm not feeling much, or I don't feel anything, and I'm not sure what I feel. I'm not sure how to find that out. I'm not sure I was ever allowed or encouraged to identify my feelings. Or I work with people who will cover up one emotion with the other, which means all of us, we all do that. But sometimes it becomes so chronic that we get confused about what we're truly feeling. So for example, sometimes I might feel more comfortable being angry than I might be feeling sad. So I keep having these outbursts of anger, and I think I don't know where they're coming from. But when we do a little bit of research, we find out that I am actually heartbroken about something, and I am not comfortable or safe feeling my heartbreak. So I have to cover it up with what I experience as power, which sometimes comes through as rage or an intense anger. So an example of how we work through what looks like anger, but it's unfelt sadness. And that's just one of them. Yes.
I thank you for articulating that, because that is very common.
Yes.
Very common. Yeah. And so in uncovering that with your client, how do you coach them to resolve that or make something positive, beneficial or purposeful?
A lot of my work is shifting perspectives and shifting mindsets. We often see in the mental health world words like negative emotions. And so as an emotional health, I don't believe in negative emotions. I believe that we have a rainbow of human experiences that are all very needed and very purposeful.
I love
and
it.
A life in which I never feel shame is a life of self-indulgence. A life in which I never feel anger is a life in which I never hold a boundary. A life in which I'm never sad is a life in which I take my joy for granted. So every single human emotion belongs in my practice. And my work with people is to find the place where it belongs.
Yes, yes.
If I shame myself for holding a healthy boundary, then we start to question that shame and say, is this the place where you need to come in? Is this shame supporting me in creating the life that I want and the protection and the safety that I want? And is the shame better suited in another area, like me procrastinating about doing my taxes, where maybe
yeah,
I can say, okay, now I can use this as a motivator to move me in the direction that I want to go. So in my work with people, we find where each emotion belongs.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to cut you off, but you're going to say something else.
Great. Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Our emotions, we were so amazingly designed. I really can't. I could come up with the best word. I mean, I would love to come up with the best word. It's not coming to me right now. But we were intricately, the word I'm looking for is
divinely created.
Divinely, deliberately, it was the word I was actually looking for, designed for our purpose. And I believe, and you can tell me if this is your perception, but to grow into loving beings. And everything, all of these the emotions, and now we're learning what to do with them. We're learning how to respond to them. And I just love everything that you said, Diana, about taking these emotions, exploring them, examining them for how they're serving us or not, and then translating it into a way that does serve us.
Yes.
That's it, put it in its proper place.
Yes.
So
increasing our emotional health to me means that I am able to engage and relate with every single human emotion in a way that supports me as opposed to drain me.
Amen. Amen. 100 on that. That I believe is, this is an education, is
sure.
what it is. And I recall about 10 years ago when I was addressing the challenges of the day. And my belief was that we need education. We need to, the problem is we don't have enemies. We have a lack of understanding. Yeah. We have misinterpreting experiences and events. Absolutely. And why they're happening. Mm-hmm. And so thank you for bringing that light. And I just want to, we have time. So far, I don't see any questions on the board, but as they come, I'll bring them. But I would like for you to share the message that someone who is thinking or considering doing something alternative for their mental and emotional health, what would you say to them? What are some questions maybe that they should consider, and some actions that they might want to take?
Well, I would start with a congratulations. If you are sitting with yourself, with your heart, and you are even pondering receiving support, it's okay and quite advisable to pat yourself on the shoulder for reaching that level of receptivity. You deserve to be supported. You do not have to do it alone. And the fact that you are already considering working with someone says that you are learning, that you're almost there.
Yes.
So you've done amazing already, if you're even considering. It took me 6 months to call my teacher, my first teacher, from the moment I met her to the moment I started working with her. I have had several clients that have told me they have moved and each time kept my card on their fridge. I've had someone reach to me after 6 years of knowing, from the moment I gave them my card to the moment they called me. So congratulations, you're almost there. Take your time. There's this, your timing will be perfect. Trust yourself and your intuition. Your psyche's working already. By the point you have your first session, there has been work being done, and you know it because you can feel it. Life works on us even if we're not working on it.
Amen.
Your health journey started way before you became aware that you're on it.
Absolutely.
So congratulations. Stay open to the whispers, because this invitation, to me, intuition is never forceful. It's not like pressure. By golly, if you don't do it now, it's over. You're gonna miss this opportunity and you'll never get it again. That is not the universe that I live in.
That's right. Same here.
The universe that I live in says, as long as you need to wait, I got it right here. When you're ready, it will be here for you.
Absolutely.
Another thing I would say, it's going to feel scary no matter how long you wait. It's going into the unknown of you. Mental health, emotional health, working on your heart and on your soul. It's going to feel like going into a cave that you're not super familiar with. You're going to need a guide. You're going to need some light, a lantern, places to shine some light in. It won't always be comfortable or easy, but it's so dang fun and worth it.
Yes, yes, yes. I absolutely love it. I love that, Diane. I love the way you put that. And yeah, the one holding the light, that's your coach.
And sometimes it's you. And your coach is by your side saying, you got this, keep going, I know it smells funny, but keep going.
That's right, the cheerleader, man, you can do this, you got this.
Sometimes, yes, the coach many times is someone who's holding your hand as you are daring greatly. Someone by your side. You're not going into the dark, scary places by yourself.
Yes.
The coach is not the one who's doing the work. The coach is the one that's inviting you to it.
Right. Inviting you and anchoring you can do it.
And consistently invites you back into yourself again and again.
Yes.
How about now? You willing to look at that now? How about now? We're like the dog who's always ready to go out.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. And your coach always believes in you and knows that the work cannot be done through another person. No one can work on your life but you.
That's right.
And many times what you do in 1 hour with the coach pales in comparison to what you do when you go home to the anxious dog or the loud vacuum cleaner or the missing car key. That's where the real work is. We just look at some tools and you just got to go back in the cave. So the work is by yourself and the coach is by your side.
You know, as you said that the work is by yourself, you know, this is the real work that we're here to do.
Right.
And on my website, it says you're perfect right now, just the way you are.
Absolutely.
And this is why, because this is what we're here to do. And so I love it, Diana. You said, well, whenever you're ready, you know,
Yes.
it's going to be the perfect time. And yeah, because all of those experiences that are bringing you to that point are all a part of it.
Right. Yes.
So I just love it that, you know, I'm reminded of one of these passages in the Bible that says, God, I'm here all by myself and I'm doing all the work and there's nobody here but me. And he says, I have 700 others out there just like you doing the same thing. And that's what I feel like it is as an emotional health coach. We're you know, there's a whole army of us because there's so many in the world who are ready for this, and this is needed, and we're here for you. Yeah. And I thank you, Diana, for your. I love the way you articulate this. It's just so perfect. It just, and I know that there are people listening or who will hear this, that that's their language. That's what they need to hear, so that they can know that, okay, this is my next step. Yeah, I'm ready for it. Yeah. Or, okay, that sounds perfect. And let me just get this information so that when I'm ready to make that step, I know where to go.
Yeah, it's a whisper. It's a whisper that never goes away, that calling to your next direction, to the door that you are meant to walk through. And thank the universe, thank God that there is no way to screw it up. There is no way to screw it up. You can take as long as you need to. However, the sooner you start, the easier it might get.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
It's that connection, working and cleaning up what is in the way of my connection to myself, to my higher self, to the divine. That's what the work is. It's like kind of taking those layers off, letting go of the luggage that's not ours to carry. It's a gradual process of carrying life in a way that's more and more sustainable.
I love that. You know, this is the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing. I am 100% about sustainability. And, you know, we have sustainable ways of doing business. We have sustainable ways of creating sustainable ways of driving, you know, the electric cars versus the gas cars. And just, we're looking at all of these environmental sustainability avenues. Well, what this is sustainability for our human existence. Yes. We have to realize that we're here for a purpose. Yeah. There's purpose in everything. Yes. When we understand and appreciate that purpose, that's sustainable. If we don't, well, you know, it's this life, the sustainability of this life and the future of life.
And if you don't get it this life, you're going to get it in the next one.
Amen. Amen. That's what I always say. If you don't get it, you'll be back.
There's no, yes, the universe is unlimited. Therefore, such is my opportunity as well. Yep. And so it's important to make a distinction, because this, to me, intuition and calling is gentle and patient and generous and whisper-like. And ego and toxicity and dysfunction is like pressure. So that is how you distinguish,
Love that distinction. So powerful.
If a part of me saying, unless you do this now, you're going to miss it, you're going to screw it up, then I know. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not how I talk to myself. Thank you very much.
Yes.
No, it's almost like, someone knocking at your door that you don't want to listen to. It's like, no soliciting. Thank you.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Yes. I listen to invitations and whispers. I don't listen to pressure and ultimatums. And getting in that habit is really important to distinguish the quality and the place from which some of our thoughts are coming from. And pressure to me is when I feel pressure from within, it's almost like it's time to love myself deeply.
Yes.
I need my own compassion at this time more than anything. Yes. Because shame wants toxic shame wants to come in and say, well, you didn't do it. You're 41 years old and you don't have a doctorate, and you don't have 14 cars, and your children are not at Harvard. And so we find things that are missing. Our mindset starts to shift to what is not there. We're starting to pay attention to what we don't want as opposed to what we do want. Yep, that's a spiral. And then if you get good at noticing the spiral, if you take that pressure as an alarm, as a fire alarm that says, ding, 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 you're going in the direction that doesn't serve you, that drains you of energy, please come back to love.
Yes.
Then I can say, whoa, wait a minute. Is that how I want to be talking to myself today?
Yes. We want to talk to ourselves like we would talk to someone we love deeply.
Oh my goodness, right? And we have these amazing friends who show us again and again just, and the greatest friend is this higher self.
Yes.
That says, love is the answer when you're scared. Don't be afraid, be in love with yourself, with life. And even fear has its place. And make sure that we don't villainize that. But when it gets toxic and it gets in a spiral and it just keeps feeding off of your energy, that's when we want to say, okay, that's enough.
I love that there are no villains, really. There's a misinterpretation, a misunderstanding that we just need to examine. We need to investigate. Where did this come from?
Yes.
And let's not forget, what did it come to teach me? What is the lesson in this? Because all of our suffering has a purpose, has a gift. It has a valuable lesson in it. And so I don't like to clear it until we've gotten the lessons from it.
And sometimes even if you want to clear it until you pass the exam, you're going to have to take the course over again.
That's right.
That's where we see patterns,
Yeah.
And you know that you are repeating the same pattern when you didn't study. Because you're not passing the exam, you're not learning from your experiences, from your relationships, from the thing that you're doing again and again. The reason
you froze for a moment there.
Because you're not paying attention. So just like in school, if you don't attend the class and study the material, you're not going to pass the exam. But you know what? The universe is so loving that says you can take this class as many times as you want. If you want to date,
as it takes.
If you want to date the exact same kind of person again and again, you go for it. I'm going to be waiting over here when you're ready. I got the next class, the next lesson lined up for you.
Ready.
But if you just want to stay in this one for a couple of lifetimes, go for it.
Everything is allowed. I didn't give this, it's behind me, but I want to bring it, I want to share it vocally. To a disclaimer that this is a general discussion about mental health and is not to be interpreted as specific advice in a specific situation. Every situation can be unique. Bless you. This is not meant to replace your psychiatrist or a medical doctor. That is a legal disclaimer that I must give, and I want to make sure that it is done in this time. And
thank you for doing that.
yes,
yeah.
But I believe it all works together. We can seek that help, and we can also add this modality. I believe it's a supportive thing. It's just like all the different modalities of medicine. Western has its strength in saving our life when we are like in emergency, but when it comes to sustaining our life and maintaining, we need practical tools. We need ways to interact with life. And that's what we have here, is ways to interpret, understand, and interact with life, and so that it's working for us.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes we need permission to do it differently.
Yes.
Because we grow up and our parents do the best they can with what they know.
Absolutely.
But sometimes the way they did things is not how it aligns for us. Not everything our parents did is in alignment with who we are.
Right.
And part of the journey is to give ourselves permission to do it differently.
Yeah.
And not to think that is disloyal, not to think that they did it wrong and I'm now doing it right. It's just what's in alignment with me and what was in alignment with them, and it's okay for it to be different.
Yes, it is definitely, absolutely okay. I see it, I've interpreted this as evolution, that we're evolving mentally and emotionally. And the reason we're in crisis today is because those ways are obsolete. They're not serving us anymore. They don't work for us. And we're learning, we're honoring our parents because they gave us everything they had in the DNA. It's in the DNA. And now we can take that and evolve even further and help our children to evolve even further. And the evolution is to love, is to be a more loving being.
Oh, I love that.
I believe that's what all this is about.
Wow, that's beautiful. I have had this personal calling to develop my ability to love everything.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's about.
As absurd, even the things I don't like.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing to say once I get there with the things I don't like is, I can love this too.
Yeah.
I feel like I won the day when I can say that.
I believe that. I believe that. The ability to love even what we don't like and understand it has a function and a purpose.
It belongs.
Exactly. It belongs, because we can do that as we elevate our appreciation for life, appreciation for all that is. That's the definition of unconditional acceptance. And that's what an unconditional acceptance, love equals unconditional acceptance. I believe that's the beginning of love. And then it goes from there, gratitude for everything that is, appreciation, and then reverence for all that is. Because, like as you said, we have a divine creator that created all of this. And I believe it was created from love to love in its fullness.
Mhm.
And everything that happens is to that end or for that purpose.
I've noticed personally that the more I take care of myself and I fulfill my needs and I just show up with a full cup, the closer I get to that unconditional acceptance.
Mm.
And it almost sounds like it's conditional to my self-care. If I'm neglected, if I'm abandoning myself for others, if I'm neglecting myself for others, if I'm betraying myself for others, it's very hard. It becomes almost impossible to offer love or unconditional acceptance to others if I abandon myself.
Yes.
And so that's where there's a place, for belonging to myself first.
Yes. Yes.
And working on that for a little bit before I go over there to accept others.
Would you say that our relationship with others is a reflection of our relationship with ourselves? Our relationship with
Absolutely.
ourselves sets the tone. So if we're thinking that the relationships with other people, whoever it might be, is not working.
Yep, absolutely. It's and vice versa. It goes both ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If I want to know how I'm going to treat you, I look at how I'm treating myself. And if I'm treating you in a particular way, I'm likely treating myself the same way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of just how deliberately and intricately and brilliantly we were designed.
We are here. Mm-hmm.
Because I see it that our relationship with everything and anything that we are not happy with, that I wouldn't say not happy with, but that gets under our skin, that gets us
conflictual. Mm-hmm.
Is a reflection of an inner conflict.
Right.
And so this is empowering because now we have the power to resolve it. Any conflict that we have.
Or hold it differently. Maybe.
Or hold it differently. Yes.
Because sometimes just because you know what's hurting doesn't mean that you can take the pain away. Sometimes we have to learn how to hold the pain. And can I be at conflict about something? We're often torn. I want to go out with my friends, but I also want to stay in and watch my favorite movie, right? And and sometimes I just have to hold that conflict. I can't do both. So I'm going to choose one or the other. And a part of me is going to miss the movie if I go out with my friends, but that's okay. I can hold that. So that pull, we won't always, Jung believed that part of maturity is learning how to hold the tension of the opposites.
Beautiful.
There's good and bad, and I'm a human somewhere in the middle. And part of my job is learning how to live in the middle and know that I'm going to have a pull between the two. So that tension of the opposites is not always resolvable.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
The conflicts are resolving. Yes.
Yeah.
Someone who's tempted to be disloyal in a marriage may choose to remain faithful, but there might always be a little bit of a conflict inside. Learning how to hold that conflict and be like, I just hold the tension until this temptation goes away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not always resolvable.
Yeah.
But we can do hard things.
We can. Yes. Yes, we can. And finding that inner strength that is outside of the inner strength that comes from the power that created us.
Yes, beautifully said.
Opening up. We cannot do life without it.
I agree. It gets really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no need to close that fountain. Why would you not? It's free.
It's free. And
Unconditional.
it's not demanding of anything that would harm us.
No, never. So why wouldn't you drink when you're thirsty? And that's shame is usually the answer. It's a toxic shame. Sometimes we don't feel worthy of the assistance, the love, and the support that is available to us.
I think that you're speaking to millions right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we close up. We think we don't deserve it. And someone needs to come and stand up for that part of you.
Yes.
We need to stand up to our own inner bully. That is inner boundary. No, that you cannot speak to me that way. I no longer listening. I've been putting on my peace headphones on, and you can yell all you want.
I love it. I love it. My peace headphones so that I don't hear that. Well, I just block out that inner
I
bully.
hold the boundary to the bully inside of me. No longer.
I love that.
Self-advocacy is so important, and many of us have never had an advocate.
Yes.
And that's one of the things we have to learn. We got to build up this inner warrior who says, no, shield, please. Yes. There's one more thing I'd like to mention.
Please.
In emotional health that I think is an important distinction. It's the difference between I feel and I think. I just want to say, anytime you hear someone follow up the words I feel with that or like, just know a thought or a story or an assumption is about to follow, not a feeling.
I love that. Very important distinction. Yes.
If I say, I feel that you don't like me, that is not a feeling, that is a story. That is an assumption.
Listen up. This is.
I feel like you're not happy to see me. That is not a feeling, that is a thought. So that is where we go into thought hygiene. Is this true? Do I know for a fact that is true? What if it's not? What if the opposite is true and I'm making up a story and I'm projecting onto you?
Yes.
Then we do into, thought hygiene.
Yes.
Now, if you're truly expressing an emotion or a feeling, after I feel comes one word. I feel sad. I feel scared. I feel angry. If this word reflects also a physical experience, because emotions do not come without a physical manifestation in the body, then we're on the right track. We're really talking about feelings, not thoughts. So that getting in the habit of listening for that, when someone says, I feel like I am self-sabotaging. Oh, that's not a feeling, that's a thought. Got it. I'm listening. I'm hearing the story underneath the story. And when someone says, I feel sad and there's a weight on my chest, there we go. Now we're aligned. Now we're in this present moment. Now we're with ourselves. Now we're right here. Now we're in the heart. So learning to distinguish when someone's speaking from the head and when someone's speaking from the heart, and getting the right ear for each, because there's a listening ear for the heart and there's a listening ear for the head, and learning how to listen for each and respond to each accordingly.
I love that. Thank you for that distinction. And excuse me, I'm glad that you brought that up, because there is a distinction to be made between mental health and emotional health. And I put them together because most people don't know. And I want to cover, they can be interchanged. Some people use them interchangingly. And when you're seeing clients, do you make a distinction between the mental health versus emotional health? Or do those have distinctions for you?
Yes, it's very important, like I was saying, to notice if we're talking about thoughts or we're talking about feelings. And they're very connected. They're very connected. But there are times when the feeling comes first. You walk into a room and you see a person and you're flooded. And there's so much emotion because it's physical. That comes first. And then thoughts start to build from that. I make up stories. And sometimes it's the other way around. I see someone and I make a judgment right away. And then my emotions are joining those thoughts. So it's very hard to separate the two. They come together. But when I communicate, it's important for me to be clear about, am I communicating the stories that I'm making? Or am I actually sharing with you my heart?
Mm.
And similarly, when I listen as a coach, it's very important for me to know what I'm listening right now is to somebody's head. The ego's chatty. We got stories to look at. Good, beautiful. Let's do it. Let's clean this up. Or when somebody's in their body in this moment, in their heart, to know, I call that being online. That's being present, being right here, right now. The head is listening too, and that's a beautiful place. Very few of us have the courage to be present with our emotions. We want to go in the story right away. We want to explain it. Why am I feeling this way? Tell me right now. How do I get rid of it?
I'm gonna get rid of it.
I'm scared. How do I fix this? Right? We want to go into the head right away. And so sometimes I just say, can we sit with that feeling for a moment? Where is it in the body? Before we go fix it, can we listen to it for a moment?
Yes.
Where is it in the body? What does it feel like? Is it pressure? Is it tingling? Is it lightness? Is it heaviness? Is it ice? Is it fire? What is it? Just, can we see it more fully? Can we be with it more fully? Then we can interact with it and maybe ask some questions like, hello, dear fear, welcome back. I feel you in my arms and in my fists and in my feet. I'm guessing you're here to tell me something. I'm willing to listen. What are you here to show me? Well, I'm here to show you that you don't feel safe getting on a roller coaster. Oh, now I can go into communicating a feeling. I don't feel safe, meaning I feel scared getting on a roller coaster. So I can talk with my friends or with my family who I'm there with and actually express how I feel, not what I think.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And it, as you were explaining that, I thought that was a beautiful example of how our emotional health affects our mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and how the education of our mental health to our emotions will make a profound impact on our mental health.
Yes.
Because it is the misinterpretation, misunderstanding, rejection of our emotions that came to serve us that cause this mental pain.
Yes. Yes. Oh, imagine welcoming every emotion.
Every emotion.
Friend, hi, welcome back.
Yes.
I know you're here to tell me something about me. That's your only mission. It's almost like the UPS guy. It's like, oh, another package.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I love that. I love that. UPS, FedEx, bring them on.
Or guess what? If I refuse to open the door by numbing myself with alcohol, sex, shopping, porn, spending, if I numb myself, what happens to the packages? They're not going anywhere because the UPS guy's got to do his job.
Calling up at the door.
Exactly. And when I open the door, what is going to happen? They're going to all fall onto me and I will feel overwhelmed because I have been refusing to feel my feelings for years. And the longer I wait, the more I resist, the stronger and more intense my experience is going to be when I am courageous enough to open my heart, whether that's in this lifetime or many lifetimes from now.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel like a rip current when it comes. And we can do that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And we, thank goodness, have one that knows.
We get a swim.
And will be there for us, be there for us in every way that we need support. I really have thoroughly enjoyed this time with you and this sharing. And I just, feel like the desires of my heart for doing this have been fulfilled in that we're getting that message out. We're getting this information to people. And in my next endeavor is to make sure that people are hearing it, people are getting it, because it is exactly the truth about what's going on right now in us. And what the root, we want to get to the root of these challenges that we're facing today, and let people know that there's nothing wrong. It's right. We're right where we're supposed to be. Yes. As I said, in our evolution and in our life, you're perfect just the way you are right now. Yes. And you just need to know that, appreciate that, reinterpret, properly understand what is going on, and that's what your coach. And I just love you, Diana. I know that the clients that come to you are those that are attracted to your energy. Every coach has their clients because there's billions of people out here that need us. And so everyone has the ones that they've been equipped to serve.
Yes, absolutely. And that alignment is perfect. Yes. And the intuition it works for each person. It's like this one.
That's right. That's my coach. There's a magnetic attraction.
Yes. Yeah. I felt it when I met my coach, and that's why I hang on to her card for 6 months.
But you did it. You did it. Yeah. That's awesome. And that's inspiration for the next person, for your clients, to know that even you waited. And it took that pull. And so it's all a part of it. All a part of it. Well, I want to again thank you. I am truly honored, and this has been a wonderful hour. And my prayer and trust is that it is multiplied, and that back to you, and for those who are able to, who will be listening to this, that I'll put your information, your website and whatnot, and under the video on my YouTube channel. So people will be watching this from YouTube or from Facebook. The information will be there as well. And I'll stop the recording and stop the live.